Hello, thank you for choosing to watch another New Life video. I'm Matt, and I'm continuing a study of the heroes of faith. It's based off of the people listed in Hebrews 11, although I'm not sure if we'll get to one of the verses in that chapter now. We're talking about Isaac. And the last lesson we talked about his marriage to Rebecca. And so we're going to pick that up in Genesis chapter 25, starting with verse 19. This is the genealogy of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac. Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah as wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Paddan Aram, the sister of Laban the Syrian. Now Isaac pleaded with the Lord for his wife because she was barren. And it's important to many couples now, but it was doubly important back in those days to have children. And so he married her, and she was provided by God. There's a whole thing, and then she's not having a kid. At verse 21, and the Lord granted his plea, and Rebekah his wife conceived. So they prayed to the Lord, and the Lord answered. Verse 22, but the children struggled together within her. And she said, if all is well, why am I like this? So she went to inquire of the Lord. So something strange was going on during this pregnancy. She didn't know what was going on, and many times in our lives we don't know what's going on. So what did she do? She went to inquire of the Lord. For a lot of people, that's the very last thing you'd try to do. Try to pray for an answer from God of what is wrong. But she did, and she got an answer. Verse 23, and the Lord said to her, 2 nations are in your womb. 2 peoples shall be separated from your body. 1 people shall be stronger than the other, and the older shall serve the younger. So basically, she's having twins. Mind you, it didn't say 2 fetuses that are actually part of your body still. No, it's 2 nations, 2 peoples inside her. But, so it was two inside her. She's having twins. That's why something weird seemed like it was going on. And it said that the older will serve the younger. Which, in that culture, is not normal. Not at all. Verse 24. So when her days were fulfilled for her to give birth, indeed there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red. He was like a hairy garment all over. And they called his name Esau. Afterwards his brother came out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel. So his name was called Jacob, which literally means one who takes the heel, which means deceiver, supplanter, that sort of thing. It was not actually a complimentary name. You know. Isaac was 60 years old when she bore them. So that will give the answer to the question, how long were they married before she got pregnant? Over 19 years. So verse 27. So the boys grew, and Esau was a skillful hunter, a man of the field, but Jacob was a mild man, dwelling in tents. Yeah, they skipped a lot of time there real quick, didn't they? And Isaac loved Esau because he ate of his game, but Rebekah loved Jacob. So Isaac favored Esau because he was a hunter and brought in food. Verse 29 says, Now Jacob cooked a stew, and Esau came in from the field, and he was weary. And Esau said to Jacob, Please feed me with that same red stew, for I am weary. So Esau had been working all day. He comes home and sees his brother's got some food, and he asks for it. What would be really the right thing to do?
Give it to him.
Therefore his name was called Edom. Verse 31. But Jacob said, Sell me your birthright as of this day. So this simple answer, what the birthright is in that culture the firstborn would get double what any other children would inherit. And that was worth a lot in the case of this family. It was a very rich family. And more so to it being of the line of Abraham. But the point is he's asked him to sell his birthright. So verse 32, Esau said, Look, I'm about to die, so what is this birthright to me? I would say that's an exaggeration.
Me too.
Yeah,
sometimes it feels like that, though.
Yeah, and I'm sure Esau was very exhausted, but
It says the heart of man is deceitfully wicked.
Yeah.
Feelings can lie to you.
So he's saying, I'm about to die, so my birthright and anything else I've got is of no use to me. I'm dead. Then Jacob said, Swear to me as of this day. So he swore to him, sold his birthright to Jacob. And Jacob gave Esau bread and a stew of lentils. Then he ate and drank, arose, and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. We'll move on to the next chapter. Chapter 26. Starting with verse 1. There was a famine in the land. Seems like there was a lot of famines in that land. Besides the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went to Abimelech, king of the Philistines, in Gerar. Anyone remember Abimelech? He was mentioned with Abraham's travels.
Yeah.
Then the Lord appeared to him and said, Do not go down to Egypt. Live in the land which I shall tell you. Dwell in this land, and I will be with you and bless you. For to you and your descendants I give all these lands, and I will perform the oath which I swore to Abraham your father. Which is what he's saying. And I will make your descendants multiply as the stars of heaven. I will give to your descendants all these lands. And in your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. Because Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. So God keeps his promises. Sometimes we don't. We should. But God is keeping his promise. And you may notice what God's not saying about Abraham. He's not talking about the mistakes and sins that Abraham did. He's talking about the faithfulness of Abraham. When God forgives you, you're forgiven. So verse 6, So Isaac dwelt in Gerar. And the men of the place asked about his wife. And he said, She is my sister. For he was afraid to say, She is my wife, because he thought, Lest the men of the place kill me for Rebekah, because she is beautiful to behold. Does that sound familiar?
Sounds like Daddy Dearest.
Yes. Speaking of some of the things of Abraham, this is something that Abraham did with Sarah. We have two incidents, and we've gone over before in previous lessons, where Abraham did the same thing. There was a lot of good things that Isaac should have, and I think did, learn from Abraham. But this was not one of the good things he should have learned from Abraham.
Right.
Now it came to pass, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked through a window and saw there was Isaac showing endearment to Rebekah his wife. So whatever he saw led to this one. Then Abimelech called Isaac and said, quite obviously, she is your wife.
Uh-huh.
So how could you say she is my sister? Isaac said to him, because I said, lest I die on account of her. And Abimelech said, what is this you have done to us? One of the people might have soon lain with her, with your wife, and you would have brought guilt on us. So Abimelech charged all his people, saying, he who touches this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. Abimelech was patient, I would say.
Oh, very.
Mm-hmm. He put up with this, and he didn't just say, get out of here. I mean, really, that's really insulting to people. To think, yeah, if they know that she's my wife, they're going to kill me and take her.
Basically accusing them all of being savages.
Yeah, they're all barbarians. But Abimelech said nobody bothered these people. And
He was very honorable.
He was.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So verse 12. Then Isaac sowed in that land and reaped in the same year 100-fold. And the Lord blessed him. Yeah. God kept his promise to Abraham. And he began blessing despite this sin that... It's an interesting thing. This is one of these things you could talk about for a generational sin, literally, because his father had done it before him. But he was still blessed. The Lord blessed him. And the man began to prosper and continued prospering until he became very prosperous. So he just blessed with abundance. So he had possessions of flocks and possessions of herds and a great number of servants. So the Philistines envied him. Ever seen someone with a lot of things and envy them?
And what?
Envy them.
Oh. Yeah?
We hope not, but it's possible. And ever been envied?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I really haven't had much in my life for people to be envious of.
You'd be surprised what people can be envious of.
Yeah, it's true enough. Now the Philistines, in verse 15, had stopped up all the wells which his father's servants had dug in the days of Abraham his father. They had filled them with earth. That's rotten. You know how much effort it took to dig a well in those days?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't just using a machine to drill and to dig down in there. Like I'd imagine it is today, though I've never seen a well dug today. There was a lot of effort to dig up a well and a lot of effort to stop up a well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And Abimelech. So at that point, the Philistines are all envious of Isaac, and he's been blessed and blessed and blessed. So finally, at this point, he's seeing that trouble is coming. You know, if they're willing to do that, what's next? What is next? And Abimelech said to Isaac, go away from us, for you are much mightier than we. Then Isaac departed from there and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar and dwelt there. And Isaac dug again the wells of water which he had dug in the days of Abraham his father, for the Philistines had stopped them up after the death of Abraham. He called them by the names which his father had called them. And also Isaac's servants dug in the valley and found a well of running water there. And the herdsmen of Gerar quarreled with Isaac's herdsmen, saying, the water is ours. So they called the name of the well Ezek. I don't have the definition right there, but it's related to that because they quarreled with him. They dug another well and quarreled over that one also. So he called it Sitna. You're looking up those definitions.
Yeah. The name of the Esek literally means quarrel.
Okay, it's Sitna.
And the other well meant enmity.
Enmity, yeah. And moved from there and dug another well. And they did not quarrel over it.
Yeah.
So he called its name Rehoboth.
Which means spaciousness.
Because he said,
Spaciousness?
Yes.
For the Lord has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. Now think about that. Isaac had cleared up this first well, and these people came and said, it's ours. You know what he could have done? What a lot of people would have done? Had a war. Go to war with these people.
That day, people would definitely go to war over water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't like going to war over a water bottle today. It's a lot of effort. It's hard to dig them and hard to find the right place to do it, and water is essential. And so, instead of fighting over it, let them have it, and it happened again. Isaac was a peaceful man. You know, we're not supposed to be always trying to war with everybody who wrongs us. You know what he did here? Something that hadn't been actually said to do until later when Jesus was on the earth. If someone strikes you on the cheek, turn to the other also. So he turned to the other cheek for these people, which is a very tough thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
So, verse 23, Then he went up from there to Beersheba, and the Lord appeared to him the same night and said, I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not fear, for I am with you. I will bless you and multiply your descendants for my servant Abraham's sake. And so he built an altar there and called on the name of the Lord, which is something to do when God is speaking to you. Worship. And he pitched his tent there, and there Isaac's servants dug a well. Then Abimelech came to him from Gerar with Ahuzzath, one of his friends, and Phichol, the commander of his army. And Isaac said to him, Why have you come to me, since you hate me and have sent me away from you? Would say that Abimelech didn't really hate him, but he knew when he sent him away it was more to keep the peace. But the Philistines were starting to hate him. But they said, We have certainly seen that the Lord is with you. So we said, Let there be an oath between us, between you and us. Let us make a covenant with you, that you will do us no harm. Since we have not touched you, and since we have done nothing to you but good, we have sent you away in peace. You are now the blessed of the Lord.
Wait a minute. What about those people who plugged up the wells?
That's a good question.
Okay.
That is a good question. It'll be addressed in verse 32.
Oh, okay.
Or no.
One of the future verses.
But I will say Abimelech didn't even know about that.
Okay.
He didn't, but
Okay. That's good.
you know, yeah, it's absolute truth that there were those people who went and started stealing wells. but I don't think Abimelech even knew about that because
Well, Isaac didn't fight over it.
right, Isaac didn't fight over it, so he just let it go. You know, if you don't report something. So, but they want him to promise that he's not going to go back and attack them because Isaac was getting very powerful. All the people that were with him would make a formidable army. So he made them a feast, and they ate and drank. Then they arose early in the morning and swore an oath with one another. And Isaac sent them away, and they departed from him in peace.
I should think it's pretty generous of Isaac to have a feast for them.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah, it is. Isaac was a very peaceful person, a very generous person, and a lot more forgiving than I probably would have been in his place when those wells were stolen from him.
Yeah. Me too.
And it came to pass the same day that Isaac's servants came and told him about the well which they had dug, and said to him, "We have found water." So he called it Sheba. Therefore the name of the city is Beersheba to this day. Do you happen to catch that name? What that
I
mean?
can catch it.
Okay. You look it up. Read when Isaac was 40, or when Esau was 40 years old, he took his wives, Judith, the daughter of Beriah the Hittite, and Basemath, probably pronounced more like Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, or Elon the Hittite. And they were a grief of mind to Isaac and Rebekah. So what does Sheba mean?
Beersheba means well of the oath.
Sorry.
Well of the oath.
So basically,
O-A-T-H.
oath.
O-O-A-T-H. Okay.
Yeah, so they made the oath there, so named the place after that. And so Esau went and married some Hittites, and they were a grief of mind to Isaac and Rebekah. Because what were Hittites?
I don't know.
Non-believers, pagans.
They were one of the many different pagans there. Previously, when it was time to find a wife for Isaac, they left the whole area to avoid that.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
So, a grief of mind, and this is certainly not the only time in history that someone's choice of a spouse was a grief of mind to their parents. But some of it is for good reasons, some of it is not for good reasons. But marrying pagans, unbelievers, is not a good thing to do. So what can we learn from these examples that we've gone over?
To hopefully have the courage to tell the truth.
Yeah, you can learn from Isaac's mistakes, same as you can learn from the good things he did. But yeah, he's lying about his wife. Didn't need to do that. And we can learn to tell the truth even if we think that that truth could get us in trouble.
As is repeated later in the New Testament, it's better to let yourself be defrauded than to be in conflict.
Yes.
And that's what we see here with Isaac.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, just trying to see, are there any other lessons in here?
God keeps his promises.
Yes, God.
Hmm?
God keeps his promises. Yeah, but yeah, before you got here, we went over
Yeah.
a few.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Good, good. I'm glad you didn't wait.
God keeps his promises. We trust in him. Keep peace. If it's just if all you have to do is just let yourself be defrauded, God will take care of you. Isaac let himself be defrauded of those two wells that were stolen from him, but what did he do? He prospered. You know, God blessed him for it. So the basic lesson is to do that, to trust in God, trust in his promises. So Sometimes we have to turn to the cheek. Sometimes we have to let ourselves be defrauded if that's what it has. If that's what needs to be done, and be honest, truthful, the way that God wants us to be. I hope this has been a blessing to you. If so, please like it, share, subscribe, comment. We'd love to hear from you. Till next time, go with God.